You reclaim your power not by taking control, but by releasing what isn't yours. Today, we're going to talk about key number 5, releasing the illusion of control, which is, again, key number 5 of our Empowered Communication series. And this one is near and dear to my life because this is one that a lot of us get really caught up in, and often even from positive intention. So control isn't always trying to come from a negative perspective. I'll give you a great example. So for example, let's say you want to tell somebody some news and you know they're probably not going to be very happy about this news. And so you're trying to tell them in a way that manipulates a very specific outcome, okay? And here's the thing. Your heart may be well-intentioned, but the fact is it is still a form of manipulation, which is still a form of control. So let's talk about healthy boundaries for a minute, because this is really where it comes up. And we touched on this when we talked about healthy boundaries. And again, you know, I love a good diagram. So ta-da, there is my healthy boundaries diagram. And so this is talking about your sphere of influence. Okay, and we talked about this when we revisited owning your energy, because again, where you really maximize personal sovereignty is when you live in your sphere of influence, when that is where you spend your time. Now, when you are controlling or manipulating somebody else is when you are tampering in someone else's sphere of influence. And I will just tell you, if somebody does it to you, it doesn't feel so good. And yet for some reason we think it's going to feel different for the other person when we're doing it to them, and it really doesn't. Again, even when well-intentioned, we can tell when we're being managed, you know what I mean? And this really comes down to not impinging on people's free will, like letting people have their own journeys, which again is key number 12, trusting the timing of everybody's journey. You know, so again, this comes down to just understanding that everybody gets to choose their polarity, they get to choose their journeys. Like everyone has their own choice. We get to decide if we're going to walk with them. Like we have our choices too, but our choices are not their choices, nor vice versa. And so we have to really firmly understand what is in our sphere of influence, because when we are overreaching, regardless of whether it's well-intentioned or not, we are in effect trying to control others. And frankly, that is not a good use of our energy, because that is not something that we are supposed to be doing. It's not something that is kind for us to be doing. And it is not, we've talked about energy as currency, and it really is not a wise use of your currency, because you're basically like burning extra energy. So you're wasting your energy trying to do something that isn't yours to do in the first place. So release that. Now, again, like you in the healthy boundary one, I shared one of my personal rules to live by, which is don't be a dick. Okay. So like, I am not saying like, don't have a care for someone else's feelings. That's not what I'm saying. If you have something to say it in love. Like obviously you get to decide the energy you bring to the situation. So come with love and light. Come with a positive polarity, right? Come with the best energy that you can bring to the situation. But release them to have whatever honest response they want to have. You get to decide what your response is to their response, but you don't get to decide what their response is. And it's a subtle difference, but it is so powerful. And again, this is where you really start to maximize your personal sovereignty, because you're really owning the things that are yours to own and releasing the things that are not. So again, release the illusion of control and feel the freedom that comes with that, as well as the personal strength. Because when you're walking in that personal sovereignty, knowing the things that you can actually affect, you really are able to see things shift, because you're focusing on the things that you actually have an influence over, because they're in your sphere of influence. Hopefully that helps somebody today, because I know this was a powerful one for me when I understood it. So I hope that helps, and have a wonderful day.